r/Askreddit by Reddit and chill. Policemen of Reddit. What crimes did you see the aftermath of that were so cool that you didn't want to arrest the criminal? I had a case in my first year as an officer where a drunk man launched his car off a boat ramp. We approximated that he was going 50 miles per hour and the car landed in 20 feet of water. He swam out, ran 8 miles to his uncle's house and stole his tow truck. He then drove the truck back, swam down and hooked the tow cable to the axle of the car and then proceeded to pull the tow truck into the water as well. We were called on scene and we could only see the headlights and the tip of the hood above water. He was passed out asleep on the dock next to it. I don't know why, but this feels like something a Scot or a Florida man would do. Amazing levels of stubbornness here. A friend of mine used to be a hash dealer, and for some reason he spent his money on reptile habitats. Giant glass enclosures, connected by tunnels, plant life everywhere. Dozens of different reptiles living in a lush green world. When he got busted, cops were calling other cops to come take a look. Some even went to get cameras. This was the 90s, because they were so blown away by what they were seeing. Of course they still arrested him, but in the cops' eyes he had become cool reptile guy instead of just another drug dealer they were arresting. I thought this was going to end with him growing weed cleverly disguised in the reptile habitats. My friend is a police officer in Berlin. He and his colleague were sent to an incident of domestic violence. A guy was beating up his wife and the neighbors called the police. When they arrived at the scene they found the son of the wife beating up his stepfather, who was trying to fight back but just catched one hit after the other. The son made sure not to hit his stepfather's face, and when asked later he said, "I didn't want him to drop unconscious. I wanted this to last. Also that would have been unfair as he never hit my mother where other people could see her bruises too." That's a good son. This one always gets me. In my city, a homeless man was breaking into homes by lockpicking. Nothing unusual with that. However, what he did was brilliant. He would wait until he knew the times people wouldn't be home and would clean their homes for them. He averaged a week or so per home going unnoticed. The first few homes he was never caught, but signs of a home invasion were reported to us. On the house he did get caught and he used the defense that he was cleaning a home that he was hired to clean and mistakenly got the house wrong and the door was left open. Armed with nothing but a cell phone he made fake email correspondence to back his claims from a client with a similar address. He was able to overall, unproven but speculated, stay for upwards of a month in homes. In court his defense was actually successful because the other cases he couldn't be linked to and was only prosecuted for the one. Then with his defense his lawyer only got him 14 days in jail. Guy never took anything outside of food. He would clean their house, eat, shower and nap, and then leave. House cleaning for the price of a pizza? Sign me up for this guy's services. My uncle is a cop in Philly. They arrested a guy who in one night put up a 20-foot long 10 feet high mosaic mural. Well, Johnson, this has to be the most beautiful duck the police mural written in penis letters I've ever seen. Color me impressed. Not a policeman, but a cool dude. Police guy stopped me for speeding one Christmas day many years ago. I was late for my night shift at work so was in a hurry. When he stopped me, I was thinking, shit, I am a big black guy in a BMW with tinted windows. Surely it looks dodgy as hell. I live in the UK. After apologizing, explaining and showing him my details, he knew I was legit and not trying to pull a fast one. So he said, "Follow me," and he put on his police car light on and helped me speed through the traffic to be at work on time for the night shift. To this day I see him around and buy him a beer in the local pub whenever I can. I should leave the internet now, while my faith in humanity is still temporarily restored. Retired cop here. Get a call of an argument between man and wife. Arrive. Guy answers door and says it was only verbal and she left. Tell him I have to have a look inside to make sure she isn't dead in a closet. He laughs and says, "Sure. I get it. Come on in." I do a quick looky-loo and open a bedroom closet door. Dude has a full marijuana grow in the closet. Probably 10 to 15 plants. Grow lights. The works. This is before it's legal. I quickly close the door and tell him to have a nice day. I couldn't see arresting that poor sap for a felony cause he got in an argument with his wife. Pretty sure similar happened to my dad. We lived in the country and he grew some dope for personal use behind the shed. The neighbors had a domestic and the wife ran up our drive and called the cops. They arrived and I was so worried my dad would get done for a few plants, as I could smell their distinct aroma when standing near the cops. I guess they were feeling nice and didn't want him to get in shit for someone else's issue. I'm a cop, but I can't for the life of me think of a good answer for this prompt. I guess the closest would be the group that stole, I want to say tens of thousands from a big box retailer. They had a guy climb into the ceiling in one part of the store, drop into the office with the safe right after a cash drop, steal everything, then leave the same way. There were at least 3 people involved. Plus we were reasonably certain the lady who forgot to close the safe was in on it. But as far as I know there were never any arrests made. Don't steal. But that beats the hell out of the guys getting snatched up stealing a fifth of Dark Eyes. Sounds like Best Buy. They have had a few break-ins through the ceiling. We used to have this campus police officer that would come chill at the picnic table with us while we smoked the electric lettuce. He said he loved the smell and enjoyed being around us while we were goofy. That and we weren't drunks destroying everything in our path like the rest of the students. Come to think of it, my college was liberal as hell. This was 12 years ago in any Pennsylvania. Weed was essentially legal on my campus, but they really enforced underage drinking. I wanna hear from real cops though. Haha. When we were in college we thought we were being sneaky until the campus security rounded the corner and said, "That smells nice," and then kept on his way. I have a female friend who's a bit different. One day, we're out on the balcony of my old apartment having a smoke when the police helicopter flies by. She flashes her boobs at the helicopter while waving and jumping up and down. And the pilots circled around for another pass. Well, of course. What did you expect them to do? Makes me think of Captain Starlight. NM Wikipedia org link. He was on trial for stealing cattle but the jury was so impressed with the feat that they found him not guilty. The judge asked the jury to reconsider. The jury came back out and stated not guilty. And he can keep the cattle. Missed a bit. Not guilty. But he has to give the cattle back. Please reconsider. Double quote. I hope at least one of the cops that arrested Penis Man out in Arizona felt this way. We are all Penis Man on this blessed day. What about Wonksy? If you're unaware, Wonksy draws graffiti penises over potholes in order to force the town to fix them. They won't fix them in a timely manner normally. But put a dong on and think of the children. It gets fixed inside a week. Wonksy's sight. Long story but worth reading. I envy this guy's skills. I tried lockpicking myself but I didn't have the talent nor the patience. I'm sorry for him. But congratulations to you for staying clean. Keep it up. I'm not a cop but I've been let go by the cops a number of times when I was a wild youth. First, there were many times I just walked calmly past the cops busting a house party. They were too busy having fun chasing the kids running or hiding. Another time, I was out joyriding with my friend soon after the 4th of July. We were in a rural area and had some fireworks in the car. We hadn't seen a car for miles. So I had the brilliant idea for Roman candle jousting. I held the candle outside and shot out above and in front of the car, so we would drive through the sparks. It was great watching all the colorful bursts shower over the windshield. We did 2 candles and decided we would do one more and be done. The last candle, we passed a dark car on the side of the road for the last round of sparks. Quickly, we realized the car was following us fast so my friend put the pedal down to get away. I think we got up to 70 before the cops' lights came on and we realized we were doomed. We pulled over immediately of course. In the end, the cops confiscated our fireworks and told us we would be receiving civil fines in the mail. Those fines never came. This reminds me of the story of Tommy Fitzpatrick. In 1956 he stole a small plane from New Jersey for a bet and then landed it perfectly on the narrow street in front of the bar he had been drinking at in Manhattan. 2 years later, He did it again after someone didn't believe he had done it the first time. I bet the cops that arrested him were very impressed. Hell, he didn't even end up getting that much of a punishment for either crime. The first time ended up being only $100 fine, since the charges were dropped by the owner of the plane. And the second resulted in only 6 months in jail. Here is an article about it. To be fair, $100 in 1956 are about $1,000 today, but still less than I expected. I was pulled over for speeding on my bike once. They seemed quite impressed by my pace when they saw the old bike I was riding on and just gestured me to leave without even stopping, lol. I never know if by bike you mean bicycle or motorbike. This will probably get buried. My uncle was a state trooper in Oregon and pulled over a group of downhill skateboarders for speeding in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. Apparently they were clocked going close to 60 miles per hour down a gradual decline. Apparently they were even passing most of the cars. He didn't write them a ticket because he was just flat out impressed that their massive balls didn't slow them down. Pretty legendary. Happened to my grandpa many years ago. He was once speeding, probably 130 kph or so in a 90 road, when a cop pulled him over. Conversation was more or less like this. Do you know how fast you were going, sir? And how fast would you go if you knew your wife is cheating on you right now and you're speeding to catch them? Turns out the policeman did not find my grandpa and allowed him to carry on. TLDR, nobody in the comments is a cop. Not a cop, but my uncle knows a guy who knows a guy whose dad once met OJ in a bar, and we all know OJ knows a bunch of cops, so yo, what was the question again? Not a cop, but my dad was. He pulled over the local ice cream truck in my town because the driver failed to stop at the stop sign. While reviewing his papers, he realizes the guy's license is expired and his permits to operate the ice cream truck hadn't been renewed yet that summer. Instead of writing him ticket after ticket and essentially ruining this man's yearly income, he gave him 2 weeks to sort it out. Ice cream man got all his stuff in order and at the end of the summer dropped off 4 massive boxes of ice cream to our house as a thank you. Never ate so many screwballs in all my life. I was not the cop in this, but I assume that the cops thought I was so cool that they let me go. I was at this party that was busted up by cops and I was stuck upstairs in a room that may or may not have had illegal substances in it. I can't recall. It was this cool house with a balcony over a pool. And beyond the pool was a gate out towards the street, so I was like, I know what I'll do. So I went out on the balcony and jumped into the pool. And then a few cops started walking around the pool and looking at me and at the balcony with confused smiles on their faces and commenting on my divabombing technique and also refusing to join me in the pool. Eventually I got out of the pool. I was underage and high and drunk as a mother ducker, and all that they did was call my uncle and say come and get him and bring a towel. They didn't even investigate where I had originated from, so that was a nice diversion. If it was required. Which I don't recall. They didn't want to deal with you. Source: I'm cop. This happened a long time ago. I was a rookie in the early 80s. I was dispatched on a disturbance call, and when I arrived there was a guy on the ground and a woman was pummeling him with a baseball bat. I ran up and grabbed her, took the bat, and handcuffed her. I called an ambulance for the guy and the woman was crying and saying, "You don't understand. He raped me last year." I was a little incredulous, but checked it out and sure enough he did have an outstanding warrant for rape. I had dispatch pull up the report and you guessed it, she was the victim. The EMTs checked him out and he was very bruised but not really injured. I took the cuffs off her and slapped them on him and told her thank you for the assist on the arrest. He went straight to jail. Did not pass go nor collect $200. Cops come due to a domestic disturbance. Husband in altercation with man outside of home. Wife is present. Cops talk to husband who is severely beaten. Cops talk to wife. Cops talk to man who turns out to be their friend. The allegation is husband may have assaulted wife and friend beat husband. Husband runs inside and tells cops to stay out. Works. Cops interviewing friend smirk and laugh when interviewing friend at how severely the husband was beaten. No one arrested. Shouldn't the husband have been arrested if he was beating his wife? I wouldn't say that this is cool. I arrested someone for battering his missus just before I tell him the magic words. He says, I saw her with 3 other guys, man. What would you do? I couldn't think of anything cool to say, but the way the guy looked at me, I felt so bad for the situation they were both in. It seems she has had issues with drugs and alcohol and he walked in on her gangbang. Damn, that's rough. Ducking, like and subscribe.